Some schools have a game. Other schools may have an event. But here at Queens, we pride ourselves in providing an experience that you will never forget. And today we have the Queens Palm and the Queens Cheer here to give us some insight on how that experience is actually created. Let's go.
And good afternoon and welcome to Richardson Stadium in Kingston, Ontario.
Welcome to another episode of the Student Section. I am Kwame Osei, and I'm joined by Coach of the Year, Head Coach Steve Snyder. And today we have the Queens Palm team and the Queens Cheer team. Welcome to the show.
All right. Welcome to Richardson.
You guys want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Lola, and I'm on the Palm team.
Rachel, also on the Palm team. I'm Michelle, and I'm one of the co-captains of the Queens Varsity Cheer team.
And I'm Spencer. I'm the other co-captain of the cheer team.
So last episode we had the Queens Band here, and my mind was blown before the episode. I had a chat with the Queens Band, and they told me that there's actually 3 cheer-type teams at Queens University. I always thought there was one. Did you think there was
I thought there was one, but it's good to know there's 3 now.
So we have the Queens Band cheer, we have the Palm team, and we have the cheer team. So the $1 million question is, what's the difference between the 3 teams? Enlighten us.
Well, we could just speak as to what we do. We're a varsity team. We focus more so on competing at competitions, primarily PCA, which is our collegiate competition, and on the side we like to cheer on other teams like the basketball team and the football team. You'll see us on the sidelines. And in terms of our sport, we do a lot of physical building, stacking people on top of each other. There's a bit of dancing too, but nothing compared to Palm, really.
I guess I'll take over, but we're also a cheer type team at Queens, but yeah, we are more dance based. So more focusing on kicks and jumps than maybe stacking people on top of each other.
Sure, we don't do that.
We still do competitions as well against other collegiate teams, and then we also cheer at games as well, like football, basketball, and we've done some rugby games as well.
Okay.
It's great.
So a little dancing, a little stunts.
Yeah.
So here at Queens, we're all about creating the game day experience. And we want to be #1 in student experience. So from your perspective, what makes the Queens experience special?
I would say having everyone in tricolor, I don't know, something about our color scheme that's really like vibrant and kind of like homey feeling, I would say. I know that we obviously want to stay competitive, but I feel like community at Queens is really strong, and getting people out to the stands is like one of the pillars of that, I suppose.
We've got a big stadium to fill, and it's super exciting when we've got a pretty full stands and a lot of students and alumni. Is pretty awesome to see.
One of the first things I actually noticed when I got here was the school colors and how you'd see them around campus everywhere. It was unlike anywhere I'd ever been before. And now that we're kind of getting settled in, one of the things our football program's taken pride in is actually wearing the colors a ton, more so than just navy, even though that's what we're in today. But, you know, introducing more red, more gold, mixing it up. We feel like with the tricolor, we actually kind of have the right to wear any of them, you know, but the colors is something special. You saw that in the stands on game day a few weeks ago when Carlton was in town, and actually one of the alum that I was speaking to had mentioned it. He couldn't believe essentially every student was wearing some form of tricolor. It's pretty impressive.
It really shows like the community and how like the spirit comes together to support different teams, and how it's not just the football team in the stands, that like we really come together as one.
Yeah, no, I agree. The tricolor is special. It's so vibrant, and I feel like the specific colors just bring a certain type of energy.
Yeah.
You see it, you know, so it's great to see. I want to talk a little bit about team. You know, we're part of a team. We're part of a football team. Each of you are part of a team, right? In your opinion, what makes a successful team? What's an element that's needed for a successful team?
For us, I think the biggest element that we have is the amount of trust we have between everyone. If you're throwing a stunt, you are catching a girl overhead and she needs to trust that you're being safe, you're catching when you need to catch. And same with pyramids, where we're stacking someone on top of someone and then another person on top of that. everyone just needs to know that everyone's doing what they're doing. And that also just brings such a great energy outside of practice where everyone's trusting that everyone's kind of putting in all the work they need to do to keep the team being successful, stay on the team year to year academically, and it's just a great experience overall.
You guys are definitely one of the teams of trust, for sure.
Yeah.
And I can imagine a lot of the trust is actually built away from the competitions and the
Yeah,
practices.
absolutely. I was just going to say, like, another big factor on our team is staying competitive within the team, because there's so many different, like, stunt groups, and as much as you want to beat whoever you're competing against at competition, you also want to keep that level of competitiveness at practice. Like, you want to outdo whoever is beside you, you want to throw a better skill, you want to, like, keep pushing each other to do better, and then on competition day, you know that you're putting your heart out on the floor, and everyone else, like all 30 other people, are doing the exact same thing.
Sounds like football. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think biggest thing for us is definitely commitment to the team, because we are student run. Like, no one except for each other is keeping us accountable, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think having, everyone come out to practice and give it their all every week, and then we trust that we're all going to be there and committed, and that's a big part of it for sure. We always say it's like what you give into it's what you're going to get out. So if you give 100%, you'll get 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
We talk a lot in our program and work a lot on, like, player-driven culture, kind of try to turn that, and I think you guys are actually a model for that, being like a student-run club.
Yeah. You get that feeling of togetherness with your team. It's not just that you're a family on the field or on the court, on the floor, that, like, when you come off, you can still rely on the people around you, and you're still connected with your team.
That's great.
So I learned about an interesting ritual that the cheer team has whenever we score a touchdown. Can you tell the roll about it?
Is this the push-ups you're talking
got
about? It. Right, so every time we score a touchdown, we do the oil thigh together, and immediately, it rotates between them, but someone will yell, "Girls, push-ups!" And they have to do as many push-ups as there are points on the board, and then if we get another touchdown, it'll be the boys' push-ups. And we rotate between it. It's pretty fun, though I will say, if we end up like the last game, there were a lot of push-ups.
So here's a question. Were you happy after the last game?
I feel like there's mixed messages here.
I love the push-ups.
Yeah, personally, I love them too.
It's the whole team, and some people may be slightly less enthusiastic about push-ups than I am.
Embrace the grind. Tell them
Yeah,
embrace the grind.
absolutely.
We're gonna start implementing it.
Absolutely.
So part of this show is to create an opportunity for the student body to have a conversation with the head coach of the football team. And you four are blessed with that opportunity. So do you have any questions for head coach of the year, Steve Snyder?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can start it off.
Yeah.
So my question was, how do you find that the football players balance their school and their football as well? Because we find the commitment, of course, it's very important, but we're also really committed to our academic life. So how do they find that balance?
Yeah, our players do a great job with that. The core of what we do is school, football, and life. And when it comes to school, all our players are driven to graduate. And within our football program, in addition to the resources on campus and in the athletics program, we actually have a pretty thorough and large academic support body for them as well. And then we require a ton of their time. These guys come in basically from 3:30 right up until 9, almost every day. And even on Sundays they're in and stuff like that. And so it's a lot of time. We really work on them with time management. So that calendar on their phone, that's attached to their Outlook, that's got to be all set up with everything they got going on in there. And they just become, really great at, managing their time. But we want them to do really well in both school and football, not just one or the other.
I was gonna ask, do you guys have game day, pregame rituals, or if you have a couple, then maybe a favorite kind of thing?
Yeah, there's definitely a ton of tradition, and it's kind of sprinkled around every corner in our football program. And there's a couple things. One of the little things is, after our warm-up, before we're about to go in as a team, we kick a field goal, and then the player who catches the ball kind of puts it up in the air, and every player runs in and has to touch the ball before. That's just one of those tiny little things, but I kind of noticed it when I got here. I thought that was pretty cool. And then there's some things we do in the locker room around the speech that's very consistent. You know, that pregame speech, has kind of a same pattern to it, which I think the players enjoy, and it's all revolves around our history and our spirit as a football program. So that's really just the tip of the iceberg, to be honest. There's a lot of traditions. Yeah.
Yeah, well, mine kind of leading into that. Like, how would you describe like the culture of the team? Like, I know we talked about what like we see as success, so how does that kind of translate onto your team?
Yeah, well, our culture really revolves around, you know, that kind of school football life, and our, you know, commitment to it is like process based. So we're not actually as concerned about the results, just more about the way we do things. And for us, you know, our 3 goals: 1 is to be the most respected team on campus and in the community. Number 2 is to improve every day, and then number 3 is to win the Ace Cup championship. And in that order, and our team really just focuses on that in that order. So I think our culture right now is actually just based around getting better at football. Awesome. It's just every day we're trying to get better at football, because we know we're never actually going to be good enough. You know, there's always room for improvement. Yeah. And we kind of keep the competition hot like you guys do. Every day we're trying to compete. But I think, you know, if I was just sum it up, it's a team that, you know, is process based. They believe in their goals. They're committed to them. They take great pride in playing for Queens. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's not just playing football. They're playing for Queens, and they want to know everything about it, and they want you guys and all the students and alumni to be proud, and that's you know, sincere. Mm-hmm.
I guess one thing that we have with the cheer team is when people join, a lot of them have never done cheerleading. For the guys, as long as they're strong and they're big guys, we like that, and for the girls, there's a lot of gymnasts as well. You guys have football players come in, they do their 4 years and stick with football until the end. How do you find managing that process of kind of getting your talent, growing the talent to be your Queens football players, and then having them graduate? How do you work with that?
Yeah, it's a big process for sure. It starts off with a really thorough recruiting process that goes across the country, and we have a model that we follow there. And then, you know, overall the strategy is to go get some really good talented guys that fit our program from a character perspective, and then get them really bought into the process of football, you know, the improvement. And then if we can get them kind of together as a brotherhood, really disciplined around the details, if we can get those 3 things, we'll be pretty good. And so, you know, it's a process. You know, a first year player compared to like a 4th or 5th year player, you notice a difference in everything. Sure. You know, their physical strength, their maturity, their knowledge of the game, their commitment to team, all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a really developmental process that I think the coaches really enjoy. We take a lot of pride in kind of being a part of that, and then seeing, it's pretty emotional when guys are leaving, I can tell you that. You know, they put a lot of work in, and we've gotten to know them. So
So speaking about pride, something else we take pride in. That's the oil thigh. Last episode,
we had the pros.
We had the band leading us in the oil thigh. The real question is, can the cheer and pom-pom lead us also? Let's find out. Let's go.
You guys sing it off now.
Okay, ready? Oil tie, no bend, we're gonna bang, we're getting good rod. The oil tie, no bang, we're gonna bang, we're getting good rod. Oil tie, no bang, we're gonna bang, we're getting good rod. Hey-ya, 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 sing!
Band again, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oil tie the band again, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oil tie the band again, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go Queens!
I missed that